On today's video, we'll talk about the top 10 richest men and women in Kenya based on their source of wealth and net worth. Net worth is basically the value of all the financial and non-financial assets minus the value of all liabilities owned by an individual. Moi's family tops the list of the richest men in Kenya. This is because he leads with over 8 different sectors that include banking, manufacturing, agriculture, and insurance. A lot of this wealth was accumulated when the late Daniel Moi was president of Kenya for 24 years. This family is not only the top richest in Kenya, but it is in the entire of East Africa. Manu Chandare is the second richest man in Kenya with an accumulated net worth of $1.8 billion. He's a Kenyan businessman who hails from India. Chandare is the CEO of the Kenyan-based steel and aluminium group, and in the year 2015, the company had more than $2 billion in annual revenue, with which he had employed over 250,000 people in 3 continents, and was well known as the largest steel manufacturer in Africa. He graduated from Jamnagar India University, after which he proceeded to study engineering at the University of Oklahoma. Right after completing his bachelor's degree and master's degree, he ventured into business, and ever since, he has been one of the most influential people in Africa. Biwott was often nicknamed as Total Man. He, however, was one of the richest in Kenya before his death in the year 2017. On that note, his family remains on the list, and they are the third in the list with a net worth of $1.1 billion. For those who do not know about Biwott, he was a politician, philanthropist, and a businessman who owned premier groups of companies, Barism Investments and Niaya Center, which is worth millions of dollars. His family, however, has continued to run his investment, and that maintains their position. Depar is the chairman of Bidco Group of Companies, a Kenya-based family-owned manufacturing business in 13 African countries. This company is East African leading manufacturer of fast-moving consumer goods. The company deals with soap production, and also it includes edible oil refining as part of their business. Depar is, however, the 4th richest man in Kenya with a net worth of $700 million. Merali is a businessman and also a founder of a Kenyan mobile service provider named Kensel. He's also a chairman of Samia Group of Companies. Besides information technology, he is also active in agriculture, finance, and construction. His estimated net worth is $600 million. He was also a major stakeholder in Airtel Telecommunication and was a member of the board before he sold his shares and stepped down from being a board member. With him having come from a wealthy family, Uhuru Kenyatta managed his father's wealth, where he seems to have acquired all his wealth. He has been president ever since 2013, and he has businesses that cut across sectors such as banking, farming, insurance, hotels, and tourism. Chris Kirubi maintained the position of one of the richest men in Kenya. Unfortunately, he died on 14th June 2021. In case you haven't checked on the funeral service, I link in the video in the description box below. He was an entrepreneur, a businessman, and an industrialist. He was also a director at Centum Investment. He had a combined net worth of about $400 billion. SK Macharia owns several businesses, of which he has a major stake in the Royal Media Services Company, which is one of the most successful in Kenya. He does own TV and vernacular radio stations, and his net worth is estimated to be around $360 million. He also has an interest in sectors such as agriculture, real estate, and banking. He is a well-known millionaire in Kenya and East Africa. Atul Shah was the managing director and CEO of Nakumatt Holdings. He has got an estimated net worth of $290 million and is among the top richest. She is the mother of President Uhuru Kenyatta and was wife to the first president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Her wealth was estimated at over $1 billion, which is spread in banking, hospitality, and real estate. Tabitha Karanja is a Kenyan millionaire alongside her husband. They both ran Keroche Breweries Limited from as far back as the late 90s to make fortified wine, and despite the numerous challenges which her business faced in the Kenyan market, for example, heavy taxation of locally made wines in Kenya, her business almost collapsed. She made it by changing products from locally made vodka, which is still in the Kenyan market till date. After achieving so much success in her business, Tabitha moved to scale up her business from producing 60,000 bottles of drinks per day to 600,000 bottles. She has a total net worth of $80 million. She is without argument the most hardworking among the richest women in Kenya. Margaret Saitoti is the wife to the 6th Vice President George Saitoti. Her husband was a Kenyan politician, mathematician, economist, and a businessman. His unfortunate death in a helicopter crash meant that Margaret was in line to acquire all his wealth. Ever since the death of her husband, Margaret has not been much of a public figure, as she rather preferred to live in privacy. Her estimated net worth is $21 million. Leah is the daughter to the late business tycoon Nelson, and as a result, most of her father's fortune, worth billions of Kenyan shillings, were transferred to her name. In spite of the shares with which her father owns in the financial institution, Leah still has investments of 0.9% in Equity Bank. She also owns one of the biggest malls in Kenya, known as the Waterfront Mall, which is definitely one of her investment in numerous growing businesses. Her estimated net worth is $19 million. Wangui Njuguna is the wife to the CEO Equity Bank, James Mwangi. The couple own the largest shares in the financial institution, which is the biggest in Kenya today. It's through this investment that Jane earns most of her net worth, which has been on a positive rise over the last 5 years. Her net worth is estimated to be $18 million. Vitimbi Limited and majority shareholder in Britam Insurance earns Jane more than $2 million on an annual basis. Her net worth today therefore clearly gets her a place among the richest women in Kenya. Being born into a rich family is one thing that gave Mary Okello an advantage to become as rich as she is today. One of her siblings once served as the 9th vice president in Kenya, and that shows how influential her family is. And despite her growing up in a family of politicians, Mary chose to be an entrepreneur. Before fully becoming an entrepreneur, she started her career as an employee at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs after the conclusion of her degree. She worked in several national and international positions before quitting all to set up her own business. Her estimated net worth is $17 million. Lucy Mwiti is one of the youngest females on the list of the richest women, and her achievement till date is explicit. She is considered having an increase in earnings and net worth to $16 million. She is the most established female lawyer in Kenya, and with regards to her career, she has represented top clients across Kenya, including the Equity Group Holdings Limited. Besides her being a lawyer, she is also a very successful businesswoman. She has, however, invested in shares with different companies, and it has worked since it brings positives for her on a yearly basis. Her biggest investment till date is in the British American Investment Company, and she is termed as the largest female stockholder on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Her estimated net worth is $15 million. Mara is one of the richest women in Kenya due to her marriage and inheritance from the late mayor of Nairobi. Ever since she claimed the fortune, she proceeded to build on an investment and acquired a percentage stake in SportPesa, which is one of the biggest investments she would have begun, since it yields millions of Kenya shillings every month. And her estimated net worth is $14 million. Through her profession, Dr. Catherine Nyongesa has been able to provide medical services, and she is a radiation oncologist and physician who owns the Texas Cancer Center, which is located in the capital of Kenya. A few years ago, lots of Kenyans were unable to receive adequate medical care and quality health services, especially for those who were diagnosed with cancer, so this became a plus. The company was, however, established on the back of $1 million loan, with which Dr. Catherine was quickly able to settle the loan and has headed on to make a fortune out of the company. And therefore, her estimated net worth is $8 million.